What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the Samsung Galaxy A33 5G. Now, this device was recently launched by Samsung, and it is the successor to last year's Samsung Galaxy A32 5G. Now, to see the most up-to-date pricing and availability for this device, definitely take a look at the links in the video description, as I'm sure that will be changing as time goes on. Now, before I show you a variety of different things about the device, let's take a closer look and see what all comes included here in the box. So here is the box that the A33 5G does come in, and you can see that it is a pretty slim box, and that's because there is no USB wall adapter included. All we get here is a SIM card removal tool. We have a double-sided USB-C cable for charging and data transfer. We have a quick start guide, and then another piece of literature here as well, showing you how to install your SIM card. Now, with the Samsung Galaxy A33 5G, we have a very large 6.4-inch display. Now, this display does feature Corning Gorilla Glass 5, so it is pretty durable, and it's also Super AMOLED and features a 90 Hz refresh rate. So the display looks great, definitely very crisp and clear, excellent colors as well. And then with that faster refresh rate, it does give us a bit more of a premium experience. So certainly a nice thing to have here. Now, the display itself is 1080p. It features a PPI of 411. We have a 20:9 aspect ratio, so a more narrow but taller form factor, but at the same time they're consistent with many of the other higher end phones from Samsung that have launched in the last several years. And we have an 83.7% screen to body ratio. So we do have a little bit of a thicker bottom bezel. And then up top here, we do unfortunately have a water drop notch, but in general, the phone does have a pretty decent looking design, and as far as the backside of the phone goes, it looks almost exactly like the Galaxy A53 5G, which I did cover here in the channel about a month ago. Now, the front camera on this device is 13 megapixels, and stay tuned for my full review video of the Galaxy A33 5G, as I'll be showing you a variety of different photo and video samples from all the various cameras here on the phone. Now, this device is offered in two different storage configurations. You can get it in either 128 gigabytes or 256 gigabytes. And the phone also supports microSD card expansion. So if you find yourself needing to offload photos and videos, for example, to free up some internal space, then you can easily do that here with this device. Now, unfortunately, with the Samsung Galaxy A33 5G, there is no wireless charging, but the phone does feature a fingerprint sensor built into the display. And it does work pretty well, as you can see right there. Let's try it out one more time. There we go, nice and fast and accurate. And in addition to that, the device also supports Face Unlock. So I do appreciate that we do have multiple methods here for accessing the phone. Now, taking a look at the camera module on the back of the device, we have a 48 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera that can capture images at up to 123 degrees. We have a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera for portrait mode, and a 5 megapixel macro camera for close-up images. And this phone does support portrait mode for both the rear and front cameras, which is certainly a great thing if you find yourself using that feature quite often. Now, here's how things look on the camera app. This is with the main camera right now. Then from here, we can easily switch over to the ultra wide angle camera, which lets us fit a lot more content into the frame. I especially like using the ultra wide camera if I'm on vacation, for example. Maybe there's a really cool building that I want to take a picture of. It's definitely a lot easier doing that with the ultra wide camera versus trying to fit everything in with just the standard camera. Now, in addition to that, we can head over to the More tab, and then from here, we have a bunch of other options, but one of those is macro mode. So with the macro camera, we can get very close up here, and things are going to be in nice detail. It's not a feature that I personally plan on using that often, but at the same time, it is a nice thing to have. Now, in addition to that, we can head over to portrait mode to get those nice blurred out backgrounds, and then we can flip around to the front-facing camera to do the same thing. So there's me right there. We can also take standard front-facing photos as well if you don't want portrait mode. And this device also supports group selfie, so you can switch to this mode here to kind of crop out a little bit so that if you want to take a selfie with multiple people in it, you will be able to more easily fit everybody into one frame. But you can see here that we do have quite a few different modes for both the rear and front cameras. We'll flip around actually to the rear camera and take a look at this section here. But essentially we have Pro Mode, Pro Video, Single Take, Night Mode, Food Mode, Panorama, Macro of course as I showed you, Super Slow Motion, also regular slow motion, and then Hyperlapse. So it is pretty nice that despite this being kind of a budget mid-range phone from Samsung, not only do we have a lot of different cameras here, but we also have a lot of different software features in the actual camera app. So in general, it's definitely a very nice setup for a phone that is a fraction of the price from some of the more top-of-the-line devices that are offered from Samsung. Now, to my understanding, the Galaxy A33 5G is offered in a variety of different RAM configurations. However, this one that I have does feature 6 gigabytes of RAM, and the processor with the phone is the Samsung Exynos 1280. Now, I did run a benchmark test using Geekbench 5, and I'll show you the score right here. So you can see that I got a single core score of 694 and a multi-core score of 1865. So what I recommend doing is running this test on your current phone and then compare your scores to these scores to get a better idea of whether or not the Galaxy A33 5G is going to be a performance upgrade for you. Because it is possible that the phone you have right now could be faster. But from my brief experience of using the phone so far, things do seem to perform pretty well. Definitely a nice smooth experience when navigating around the phone, and of course I'll have to spend a bit more time with it to really know for sure. Another awesome thing about the Galaxy A33 5G is that it does support 4K video recording for not only the rear camera, but also the front camera as well. So if you do like to take really high quality videos, then this phone actually could be a really good option for you. Now, as far as battery capacity goes, with the device we are getting a 5,000 milliamp hour internal battery, so a very large battery, and you should definitely expect to get at least a day, if not 2 days, of battery life out of it, which is certainly a great thing. And in addition to that, this device does support 25 watt fast charging. So not only do we have a large battery with the phone, but you are going to be able to recharge it pretty quickly. Now, as far as software goes, this device does run Android 12 with Samsung's One UI 4.1 interface. Now, if you've used other Samsung phones within the last 5 or 6 years, then the experience probably will be pretty familiar to you. But another nice thing about this phone too is that not only do we have Android 12 out of the box, but the device also will be getting at least 4 years of major Android software updates. This is something that Samsung has pledged to do for all of their A-series phones, and it really does make them stand out from the competition because pretty much none of their competitors have pledged to provide that much software support. So great job Samsung for leading when it comes to software support over a long period of time, and that's especially something that's rare to find with lower end budget phones. In fact, Motorola, for example, only gives their budget devices one major Android software update. So if you buy a Motorola phone with Android 12, you're only going to be getting Android 13, and then after that, there won't be any updates besides maybe a security patch here or there. So it's really cool that Samsung is giving their devices a lot more longevity compared to the competitors, which in my opinion gives the phone even more value. In addition to that, this device does support NFC, so if you do like to make mobile contactless payments using tap and pay, then you can do that here with the phone. So you can use Samsung Pay with this, which is really great. The device also supports IP67, dust and water resistance, which means you can go underwater for up to 1 meter for up to 30 minutes. And another cool thing too is that this phone does have stereo audio. So if you're playing a video or listening to a song, for example, you're going to be getting audio coming out of not only the main speaker on the bottom, but also the earpiece up top, giving you a much higher quality audio listening experience. Now, taking a closer look at the hardware of the device, I already talked quite a bit about the front panel here, and I will admit, I'm really not a fan of having this water drop notch. I really wish they would have given us pretty much the same form factor as the Galaxy A53 with having a hole punch instead. So that's certainly something I wish they would have done, but at the same time, I suppose you can at least get by with this configuration. Now, taking a look at the left side of the phone, there's nothing. On the right side of the phone, we have volume up and volume down, also the power button. Then up top here, we have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card, and also the noise-canceling microphone. And then on the bottom of the phone, we have the microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and the speaker. Now, you probably noticed that there is no headphone jack on this device. That is pretty disappointing, and I definitely wish we did have that. So certainly keep that in mind. If you really do want a phone with a headphone jack, then you're probably going to want to avoid the Galaxy A33 5G, unless you want to use an adapter with the USB-C port. Now, taking a look at the back of the phone, we have just the Samsung logo, and then the camera module, and the device features an all-plastic build besides the display, which of course is made out of glass. Now, these side panels do appear to be metal, but they are not. This is a plastic material, but I do like the way that they finished it. Instead of giving it kind of a more glossy look, like we got with the A53 5G, they gave this device a matte finish instead. So I think it looks really nice both on the back panel and the sides. So certainly a really premium looking handset, and I really feel like this phone does look a lot more expensive than it really is. The phone is also a little bit on the heavier side, which kind of also gives it a premium feel. I feel like a lot of these lower end devices feel very light, which isn't bad if it's in your pocket, but typically heavier phones are synonymous with being more premium. That's definitely more of an opinion, but I see people mentioning that all the time in the comments. But in conclusion, I'm really excited about the Samsung Galaxy A33 5G. It's really nice to see that Samsung is taking their mid-range devices very seriously, and especially having that pledge to give us software support for 4 generations of Android is also very impressive. So I'm definitely looking forward to creating more videos about this phone on the channel here as time goes on. So definitely make sure to subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions about the device. And with all that said, I will see you in the next video. Take care and have a great rest of your day.